Hey guys, it's Anna. I thought I would do a live video. I want to wait for a couple more people to join. Hey Sue! Can you hear me, Sue? This is my first live, so I want to make sure I'm doing it right. If you hear noise in the background, it's Oliver. He's always in here causing trouble. So let me know if you can hear me, Sue. Hey, Christy Crafts. Can you hear me, Christy? Oh, great. Thank you so much, Sue. Diane Nelson, hey, from Minnesota. Hi, a little bit crafty. How's it going? Yay! Oh, no. Sue. Well, I'm so glad you guys can hear me. I've never done a live video before, so hang in there as we learn how to do this. Thanks, Nancy. Oh, good, great. Thank you so much. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. I thought I would just pop on and do a quick video with you guys and see how this whole process works. So thanks for hanging in there with me while I learn how to do this. So I thought I would make a card tonight with this Bunny Basket Trio stamp. This is new from Whippersnapper, and I thought it would be fun to color this up and kind of do a Sew in Love February inspiration with you as well, since there's a little heart here included. And there's even hearts on each of the bunnies. So I'm going to just go ahead and get started here. So hopefully more people can join. I didn't announce that I was going to go live or anything like that. So just kind of spur of the moment. We just came in from outside, taking care of all the critters. We had to move the goats up to our shop where it's heated. It's supposed to get down to like 8 degrees or something ridiculous like that tonight. So we like to put up the animals when it's going to get really cold like that. So we just came in. So if I sound congested or something, it's because my cheeks are frozen. So, but everybody should be nice and cozy warm tonight. So that's a good thing. So I'm going to use the Mini Misty. I love the Mini Misty to stamp my image here. And I've already pre-cut a piece of cardstock, and I've cut it here at a, chomped off a portion of this circle because I don't want to have all of it on my card. So I'm actually going to end up stamping this upside down. So let's see. I'm going to try and catch up with the comments too while I do this. So hopefully I can get this stamped straight and it's not an embarrassment here. So let's see about that. Actually, you move that down. Let's see who else has joined us. Hey, Patty. Oh, Nancy. You'll have to let me know where in Washington State you are. I'm in Washington also. And Minerva. Great. Great. Nice to see you guys. I was telling the people who joined earlier, I've never done a live video before, so you guys are just gonna have to hang in there with me while I do my best at this. So, and I want to try and get this stamp placed nice on this circle die here. So you'll have to let me know what you guys are up to tonight. I know it's kind of late on the East Coast for some of you, but here on the West Coast, our evening is just getting started. Let's see. I want to straighten this up just a little bit more. This is what you guys don't see me do in my videos. I can edit this stuff out. I fiddle fart around to get everything placed just right. Let's see. I think I'm going to stamp it in black Memento ink. And let's see. Stanwood, but your friend lives in Liberty Lake. Oh, Liberty Lake is not very far from me, like 10 miles, if that. Stanwood's over on the east or the west side, isn't it? North Carolina. Hey, Pam. All right, and Garland, Texas. Ooh, you guys are going to get kind of chilly this week too, I think. Let's see. Let's see how good I do stamping this. Hey, Maria. Thanks for joining. It's not perfectly straight, but I think it'll get the job done. So I'm going to go ahead and let that one be our stamped design. And move on. I don't know if you guys have, if you've never done a live video before on YouTube, there's a slight delay. And as I'm watching the video on my computer monitor, there's a couple seconds delay, so it's a little unnerving. But, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get to coloring this. And, let's see, where did my paper go? I might use similar colors to the insert sheet. But I might change it up. I think I might want to make one of my bunnies blonde or yellow, light cream. So I'm going to start with the light gray bunny though. Oh, Tracy, thanks for watching my other video on where I colored the bunny from High Hopes. That's such a cute, cute stamp. So I'm just going to use some light gray markers to color this one. This is the C1 marker. So, and you guys are being so patient with me. Thank you as I learn to do this whole live video thing. It's very different from what I'm used to doing. I'm usually able to edit out all the nonsense that goes on around me in the background and, you know, fix any boo-boos that I might make. But you're going to see them as they happen. So there's the C1, and then I'm also going to use the C3 to add a little bit more depth here to this little gray bunny. We have a bunny. His name is Mr. Rivers, and we've had him just about a year, not quite a year, I guess. Somebody dumped him at our neighbor's house just around Christmas, a year ago Christmas, and it took him a while to catch him. But he's a little domestic bunny, and finally they caught him and asked us if we wanted him. They were a little senior couple and weren't able to take care of him, so we said we would take him, and we actually took him to our vet, and our vet neutered him, so now he's not an aggressive, crazy bunny, but he's more of just a decoration outside in our, we have a little coop for him, a little chicken coop, and he hangs out with a couple of our little silky chickens. And he's named Mr. Rivers because that was the name of the people who gave him to us, was the Rivers. So, but he's a little black and white bunny, and he's pretty cute. So, and it's amazing how he gets along just fine with the chickens. We had a little gray flannel bunny when we lived in Texas, and his name was Lolly, and he was a little gray flannel miniature bunny. Pretty cute. I'm also going to use the C4 marker to add some more depth as well. Oh, let's see, Patty, the markers that have the check mark on them, like this one here, there's nothing different about them for Copics. It just means I have the refill. So if you see the check mark on the cap like that, it means I have the refill where, let's see, like this one here, V93, I don't actually have the refill for, so I don't have a check mark on it. That's the only thing that means. So, and just add a little bit more gray here to the far outside edges underneath his little chin, under his neck here on his body where he would his head would cast a shadow, down his belly, and then add a little bit here to the outside, well, which would be the back side of his ears, which are slightly showing towards the front. And I think I'll add a little bit of pink for his cheeks. I like to use R20 or R20 when I do my cheeks. So I'll go ahead and do that on him as well. pretty cute. For the little belly on this little guy, I'm going to make it even lighter gray, just so that he's like a totally gray bunny. And don't get too carried away on my color palette. So I'll add the C00 and then I'll follow that up with a C1 just for a little bit more dimension. Let's see, Crafting with Gabby, hello to you. Thank you, Tracy. Let's see, Kathy, joining the live from Aliso Viejo, California. Oh, near Disneyland, wonderful. How do I pick my color choices? Usually I just pick based on how I'm feeling, if I want to color in bright colors or primitive colors or pastels. I've been kind of on a pastel kick lately, but I've also pulled some paper to use for my cards. So I've pulled this Authentique paper pad, and so I know that I want to work with some pastel colors. So that's generally what I'll do, is I'll start by what I'm inspired by, and generally that starts with pattern paper. So hope that's helpful for you. And let's see, this is a stamp, Gabby. It is a stamp from Whippersnapper Designs. It's called Bunny Basket Trio, and it's a red rubber stamp. Let's see, I have it mounted in the Misty, which I just used for stamping, and so it's a red rubber stamp and it's on cling foam. And the website for that is whippersnapperdesigns.com. All right, so now that I have my first bunny done, I'm going to save the hearts to last because I think I want to color them all the same color red. So I'm going to wait on the hearts and see what my the other colors of the bunnies kind of dictate my red to be. So I'm going to do a little blonde bunny as well. I'm going to start out with YR21 and just add a little bit of that here to the back side of the ears that are showing towards the front, and a little bit down the outside of his face, and again under on his chest where his head would cast a shadow. And then I want his overall color to be a little bit lighter than that, so I'm going to go with Y00, which will probably end up being too lemony, and so I'll have to tone it down with something else. Lemon yellow is not my favorite color to work with. I like something that's a little more buttery, a little warmer, but this will be a good start, I think. And if I miss a comment from you, I apologize. I can only see so many of them. And so if I look up and happen to have missed one, I apologize. I'm going to see if Y11 will work a little better here. There we go. Blending those two yellows together. And then I think I'm going to use a color that's called Cashmere. This is quite a little buttery yellow as well. Let's see, it's where did it go? Y21 is also a really good color, and Y23, but I'll go with this Y32 Cashmere. I don't know if I color like most other people who use Copic markers. I like the watercolor look, so I like coloring with Copic markers and still having somewhat of a watercolory look. So I tend to use a lot of little blotches and dots when I color. So you might be used to people doing a little bit more overall color and blending than I do. So hopefully that's of interest to you. So I tend to go back, like back and forth between my lights and my darks, because sometimes if my darks get a little oversaturated, then I can desaturate them a little bit with a lighter color here. So I think that bunny is pretty cute. I'm going to move on to the next one. Oh, he needs some pink cheeks also. And I need to color his belly. So I think I'll go with the Y00, which was the lightest yellow that I used, and just fill that in, and then use Y11 to add a little bit of depth to that. All right, so now moving on to the next bunny. Oh, thank you, a little bit crafty. Thank you, Tracy. I have a lot of paper to choose from, so I have a thing for pattern paper. So thankfully they started making it in 6x6s because I was getting overwhelmed by 12x12s. So, hey Donna, thanks for joining. So I think the next bunny I'm going to do in a really light brown, and I'm going to use the E4's series. So E4, 1, 2, and 3. The reason for that is I want my basket to be a little bit warmer in color. So I'm going to stick to these E4s for my bunny so that he has a little bit different color on him. So I'm just going to fill in his belly since I already know I'm going to use the lightest brown for his belly. So I'm just going to fill it in now as well. And put some color up in those ears. It was so fun drawing the images for this release. It's crazy as a illustrator for a stamp company, we have to work so many seasons in advance. So you would think now would be the time to be drawing bunnies and things, but now I'm actually working on Christmas for next year. So it's sometimes it can be a challenge to work so far ahead on designs, but I love it. So there's a little E4 one. I'm going to add a little E4 2 up the back side of those ears, down his cheek, and where his head would cast shadow on his arms. So that's pretty cute. There we go. I'm going to add a little bit of pink to his cheeks as well with the same R20 marker. There we go. Cute, cute, cute. Let's see, I think for the hearts, I'm going to use R20 as my lightest color, and I'm going to use R21 as the slightly darker color for the 3 hearts on the bunny's chests. So, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed in my videos when I set the marker caps down, I almost always set it down backwards and have to spin it. I don't know how to teach myself to take off the marker the right way, the marker cap. See? Always upside down. Oh, crazy. All right, so now our bunnies have some love on their chests. And now I'm going to move on to the basket. I'm going to save the little hanky that they're sitting on for last probably, and I'm going to move on to the basket itself. I'm going to use E11, E13, and E15 for the basket. So these colors are a little bit warmer. And this is like a wicker basket, so you can actually add a lot of dimension, even using just one color, just by concentrating your color on one side of the basket, where all these weaves take place. That's a really easy way to add dimension. So I'm just going to go through here and kind of color these really quickly here. And then I'll be able to go back and add some darker colors next to the edges where the, where the basket weave is detailed. And And I'll be adding some shadows under here where these little doilies are too, or these little hankies. Okay. So that's my first color, E11. Hey, Joanne. I am on live. We're coloring bunnies. And this is the first time I've ever done a live video, so I'm glad you could join. And as I learn the process of doing live videos, maybe I'll do them more frequently. It was one of the goals I had for my channel this year was doing more live videos and more premiere videos so I can interact with you guys. So thanks for hanging in there with me while I learn this stuff. Thank you, Tracy. So, did you guys all have the day off today? If you work, did you enjoy a 3-day weekend? I did. I loved every moment of it as well. Now I'm going to add some E15 just to add a little bit more depth here to these darker areas where the basket weave has detail, and also under where the shadows of that hanky would be. All right. And I think what I'm going to do also is add some gray as my shadow. So it's one of the tips that I have is if you don't have a wide variety of colors in your marker collection, pick up a few gray colors as well, because you can always layer grays over colors to add shadow. Let's see, I want my C3 and C4 markers. So I'm going to start with C3. God, that cap was backwards. And this way I'm going to just go ahead and really lightly place just a little bit of that color underneath where that hanky or towel, quilt, doily, I don't know, whatever you want to call that thing, blanket, where it would cast shadow on the basket. And now that I have those in place, I'm going to add a little bit more depth to those shadows with the C4 marker. So it's a really, really good way of extending your color palette is by having some grays to use. I do use pencils. I use pencils when I'm coloring with Copic markers even, just to add a little bit more detail. So they actually are a really good medium to work with Copic markers. I don't use them on their own too often unless I'm using like a Gamsol with them to kind of dissolve the color and blend it out. But I do enjoy using colored pencils over Copic marker coloring for sure. And let's see, I think I'm gonna make the little doily thingy. I don't know what to call that thing. I think I'm gonna make it blue. So I'm gonna start with B93 and just add a little bit of that because it's such a rich blue color. And then I'll go back with some really light blues and see if we can keep this look from looking super blue, but more of like a hint of blue. I'm going to add a little bit more there under the bunny's arm where he would cast a shadow there. And just follow around the edges here and a little bit around that heart. All right, so now that we've got that one in place, I think I'll grab B000. And it is a pale porcelain blue. So it's a little bit more of a blue-green, but I think we'll be able to make it work. So I'm just going to add that color right over the top of those little blue specks that I have added. And then I'm going to use a B0000 to blend that out even further. And then I'll probably top it off with a blender pen as well, just to kind of soften it all completely. And finally wrapping up with that blender pen. And I like the blender pen because it just knocks back a little bit of the brightness. If you don't want it quite so saturated, you can just use it to knock back some of the brightness of your markers. And then it also kind of blends all the colors that you've used together. So there's our little, what are we going to call that? Doily? Oh, let me see if I can catch up on some comments here. Diane says she worked at school and had a 4-day weekend. Oh, nice. 4-day weekend. Oh, nice. Turn into 5-day weekday. Oh, no. Oh, a 5-day weekend. You have 14 inches of snow coming? Holy cow. That's a lot of snow. We're only supposed to get really, really cold here. Single digit temps for the week. So you can keep all that snow. Let's see. How do I choose between warm gray and the cool grays? Just the other colors that I'm using. Just to see what it could go with. I could have used the warm grays as well, but I didn't. I chose the cool grays. Thanks for joining, Teresa. Glad to see you here. And Christine, yes, the video will replay as soon as I end the live, so that's great. All right, so for my heart here, I want it to look like it's galvanized. So I'm going to go with the cool grays again. So the same grays that I colored this first bunny. I'm going to start with C1, if I can find it, in my stack of pens here. So this is a C1, and I'm going to color the whole heart. I could have made this look rusty too. That would have been cute, but I wouldn't want it necessarily to be rusty against that warm colored basket. So I'm going to do galvanized instead. So that was C1. Next I'm going to use C3. I'll start with C2 then. I was going to say I don't think I have a C2, but I do. So just adding little splotches here and there. And then when I move to the C3, I'll add even fewer splotches, just kind of randomly. You know, galvanized has that kind of mottled look to it. So, and then I'll finally end up with the C4 and add just a bit more as well. All right, so now I'm going to do a little bit of ink blending here. But actually, first I'm going to ground my basket. I'm going to use C2 just to give this a quick little shadow here. So that way they're not floating. And then I'm going to use a blender pen and add some, just a very light antique color around the die cut itself. I move all those pens off to the side. See, this is what you guys don't get to see during the videos. All the rearranging I have to do at my desk. All right, so I'm going to use a blender brush, and I'm going to use my vintage photo, I think. Oh, I'll use tea dye instead. All right, so I've got tea dye here. And I might actually have enough ink on my brush here. Yeah, we'll try that first, because I don't want it to be very dark. I just want it to be just the idea of having a distressed edge there. I think the color I used last was actually vintage photo, so I need to be really careful because that's a lot darker than I was wanting on this card. All right, so there we go with that. And now I do have some papers cut. I already have one of the pieces of paper from the paper that we're using tonight, which is this Authentique pad. And this is called Meadow. This is a really cute paper pad. If you guys have this in your stash, you might pull it out for Easter this year. It's got little lambs and bunnies and just really cute little images in it and really pretty colors, I think. So I love this plaid. The problem with this plaid is it's on the back side of this tree, and I love the trees even more. So I didn't want to use trees on my card tonight, but I was so drawn to use this plaid, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it because of those trees. So isn't that crazy? Crazy, crazy. All right, so I have my green die here that my circle die that I've cut down already to match my white piece of cardstock here. And the white cardstock that I'm using, I'm trying out a new cardstock to me. This is the Accent 120 pound paper, and I bought it off of Amazon, and it was really affordable, actually. I'll leave a link to it in the video description after the live ends, but it's the brand is Accent, and the weight of it is 120 pounds, so it's really, really substantial. Would work great for tags. So I'm giving that a try. I thought if I didn't like it for coloring, I could at least use it for card bases, and it was no loss. So, but you can see it takes markers pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and layer those. I'm going to use my multi-glue here. This is my favorite white glue. Late to the party, Jackie, but at least you made it. Thanks for joining. I will add the link to the Stamp Minerva. I certainly will. I won't be able to do it during the video, but I'll add it afterwards. Hey, Gigi. Nice to see you here. All right, so I've also pre-cut a couple other layers. So I've die cut another paper from that paper pad just as a panel behind my image here. This is really cute. It has little, I want to say daffodils, but they're probably not daffodils, but just little teeny itty bitty flowers. And then I've also pre-cut a piece of, I think this is banana cardstock from Stampin' Up. Maybe. I'm not sure about the color. I've had it for ages, so it's really hard to say. Most of my cardstock and stuff like that, it's not labeled, so I have a really hard time remembering what colors are what when it comes to the cardstock, since I've had it for so long. I did purchase some new packets though recently, so I'm excited to use those. I haven't even opened them up yet. So there we go with that layer there. I'm going to add some faux stitching because, oh come on, what is an Anna card without some faux stitching with my tracing wheel? So I'm going to use the one that I had to replace the axle on. So just give this a quick little zip here. I love this tool. Absolutely love it. So there we go. We've got four little sides done there, and I've got my white card base. This is actually the same Accent paper, so you know it's quite substantial, 120 pounds. But it scores really nice. It cuts really nice, so I have no issues with it so far. I don't think I've tried. You know, sometimes we score cardstock in one direction, it kind of splits, but if you score it in the other direction, it doesn't. I haven't scored it, I think, in the vertical to make a top folding card to see if it has issues scoring that way. I should do that. Just going to add that there with my favorite adhesive. And then I think we can go ahead and see about placing this cute little image here. I also have a couple other things here as well. I have the extra piece of the scalloped circle. And I have a couple of the little strips of paper that I had left over from the two pieces that I die cut previously. So I'll use these to decorate the inside and the back of the card. And then I also have this die cut here. This is from the new Trims die set for Impression Obsession. It's one of the I think there's 5 different dies in that set, and this is the stitched Rickrack. So I pulled out one of these and thought maybe I might use this, but I'm not sure. So we'll just set that aside and see if the inspiration hits me on where to place that or not. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those little bunnies down, I think. This is a tracing wheel, Gabby. I think this is what you're asking about. It's a tracing wheel that seamstresses use to mark patterns. It doesn't normally come with this little screw inside it. It usually looks like this. But it's a serrated tracing wheel, and you can find them in the notions department at your craft supply stores that have fabric and things like that. You might also see them that look like this. So this is just a different handle style. And then they have some ergonomic ones as well. Let's see, here's one here. That's like an ergonomic handle. This is from my friend Anne, she gave it to me. But they all do something similar as long as they have a serrated wheel. The serrated wheels might be a little different and they might leave a slightly different pattern than one another. But as long as it's serrated, it should work for you. And then just make sure you have like a self-healing mat or like a catalog junk mail or a piece of heavy chipboard underneath your project, something that has a little bit of give to it. And then when you roll the wheel on your paper, then it'll leave like a faux stitching line. So they're super fun. Joan, I do some sewing. I don't really do any quilting. My mom and my aunts do quilting. I do not cross stitch and I don't knit, but Joan, I'm guessing those are things that you like to do, so that's nice. Those are wonderful, wonderful crafts for sure. My mom and my aunts make amazing, amazing quilts. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this panel here down. I think my sewing skill is collecting fabric. I love fabric, so I do have a little hoard of fabric downstairs. But I like making little things like little zippered pouches and things like that. Little bags. Pillowcases, I make some pillowcases. So there, I think that's really cute. I'm going to use, instead of this little rickrack piece, I think I'm going to add some twine. And one of my favorite buttons. So the twine that I'm using is from May Arts. And then the color is SM09, and it's a really pale cream color. So it's not quite white, but it's not like a craft color. And I'm just going to double this up and put it inside my card and wrap it around and tie a bow. I think I'm going to use, sometimes I use my little, since I'm on live and you guys are watching me, nothing like not being able to tie a bow, I'm going to use my little cheaters here and make them hold my twine in place while I tie. So there we go. And if you guys don't have a pair of these pliers, or these tweezers, oh my gosh, you should find a pair. They are amazing. I love these things. They pinch closed when they're just laying there. You have to actually squeeze to open them. So they're like an extra set of hands, which is great. All right, so I've got my little twine bow added here. I'm gonna add a button as well. I have my glue gun heated up next to me. And so I'm gonna grab a little button here. And actually, the button dish that I have on my desk is a little dish that Joanne gave me. It has a chicken in the bottom of it. See? there's the chicken. Cute, cute, cute. So it makes a perfect little button catch on my desk. So thank you for that, Joanne. And I'm going to use this little shell button here, and I'm going to cut another piece of my twine. It was super windy here today. I don't know if you guys recall, but in mid-November we had a big windstorm here that damaged our house, damaged the roof, and we're still going back and forth with the insurance company to try and get that resolved. Well, we had more wind today, and it did more damage to the stuff that hasn't even been fixed yet, so it was a little aggravating. I made some phone calls today and told them how important it was for them to get out here so that damage could stop happening. All right, so there's that. I did have to tell him though that I was, you know, grateful we still had a roof on our house. We didn't actually have a tree laying in the middle of our living room, so some people around here are still dealing with that, so no good. All right, so there we have a little button added as well, and I think that's cute as can be. I'm going to go ahead and fold my card. I'm going to move my twine here a little bit so I can get my card folded nice. And I'm going to use my bone folder. This is a Teflon bone folder. And when you use a Teflon bone folder on cardstock, it doesn't actually mar the cardstock and make it shiny where you've run the bone folder. So if that's something that you've seen before on some of your projects where you use a bone folder and it makes the paper shiny, the Teflon bone folders don't do that. So that's why I always use the Teflon bone folder when I'm pressing down that scoring of my card. So there we go, cute little bunny card. And I don't very often put sentiments on the front of my card, so I'm not going to do that tonight either. And I probably won't put a sentiment in here either because I don't know who I'm going to send this to. So I usually like to leave them blank on the inside as well, unless I know for sure what it's going to be used for. Then I'm going to just choose a couple of my pattern papers here and see about adding some to the inside. So I think I'll go with that long yellow one as a start. And I'm just going to use white glue here to add this in place. I had to figure out where to stop my glue. I don't like adding extra glue, especially if I'm going to fold this over or cut it off and it gets on my scissors and gets all kind of wonky. So I like just stopping where it's needed. So there we go there. I'm also going to add this piece here as well. I'm just going to add another little layer here just for decoration. I'll stop it right about there. And then once I get these in place, I'll add some faux stitching to these layers as well. So there we go. And I'm just going to give this yellow piece a real quick snip here with my scissors. And the other piece I'm going to fold around and make it go up the back side of the card, just for fun. There we go. I don't have buckling problem glue, but I don't use very much, so that might be why. But I also use pretty heavy cardstock too, so that could also be why. But it doesn't tend to buckle. No, sometimes it squirts out the edge like that, and that drives me crazy. So I picked up one of these little glue picker-upper erasers. This was at the Dollar Tree the other day. So that always picks up a little extra stickiness. I had one of these when I was in college. in my drawing class. So there we go with that. I'll go ahead and add my little hand stamped stamp here. I'm going to use this one. This one is from, let's see, artwork by Lisa Hensley, and it's from Stampery Inc., 1999. And I'm just going to stamp it in black. And then I'm just going to sign my name and keep it simple here, if I can find my pen. All right. Cute, cute. Well, we didn't find a spot to put this rickrack, but I think that's okay. I'll use it on my next card. It's really cute though. So that is my card. And again, I'll just recap for those of you who may have joined a little late. The paper pad that we used is this Meadow one from Authentique. And this is quite old, 2018. And then I also used this rubber stamp from Whippersnapper Designs. It is Bunny Basket Trio, and the website is whippersnapperdesigns.com, and it's part of the new spring release that just released. And the dies that I used is this scalloped circle set and this crazy stitched circle set. Both of these are from Impression Obsession. So, and I think that's pretty much it, other than the Copic markers that I used. And the button and the twine. I think that's pretty much it. So thank you so much, you guys, for watching my video. I really appreciate it. It's so fun to see all of you here. Hey, Lacey. How's it going, Lise? Teresa, how are you? Sue Crozier. It's good to see you guys, ladies. So thanks so much for watching. This is my first live video, so thank you to those of you who joined early and had to put up with all of the learning that occurred at the beginning. And now that I've got my first live video under my belt, I'll plan to do some more. So I do have quite a large project that I'm trying to assemble for April, but I need to take some time away from that and make sure that I'm still able to be creative and things like that. So you'll see me on YouTube frequently. But thanks so much for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. All you East Coasters, go to sleep already. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye.